Hey guys, so I didn't really have a vlog today. Didn't do much at all today. So nothing really worth vlogging about. So I decided to do just a video like this because I did take an interesting quiz on Facebook today, and I thought, well, why not turn it into a video? It's just a fun little, like one of those survey type things, and it's about your first in life. Like, what was your first this? What was your first that? So I thought, hey, what the hey, I'm just gonna do a what was your first tag, I guess you could say. Anyway, so I'll go ahead and get started. Who was your first prom date? My first prom date, well, technically my first prom date was in my junior year, but I went stag then. Me and my friend went together. We didn't have dates. But when I did have a date my senior year, it was with my boyfriend at the time, Aaron. We'd been together for like just a few weeks, and he was a freshman and I was a senior. Yeah, I kind of robbed the cradle. But I was 17 and he was 15, so that was my first prom date. Number 2, do you still talk to your first love? No, not really. 3, what was your first injury? My first injury that I can remember, like major injury, was when I burned the back of my leg on a lawnmower motor when I was like 6 years old, because my cousin had just finished mowing the lawn, and before we had started mowing, they were riding around on it and playing and stuff, and I didn't understand, like, after they finished, that we couldn't still do that. And I went running out there and like, oh, it's my turn, because I didn't get a turn before they'd mowed the lawn. And I didn't sit on it, but I stood on it and I lost my balance, fell and onto the motor and burned the back of my leg. Had to go to the doctor for that one. A lot of scrubbing. I still got the scar and everything. So yeah, that was fun. Stay away from hot motors. What was your first job? My first like real job, and not just like little bits here and there, was Subway, which I worked at for 4.5 years. Other than that, it was just like working for my brother and stuff. I didn't really count that. Or like a job that I had for a day. So what was your first car? My first car was one that my brother bought me for like $300. It was such a trashy little car, but it got me around. It was a 1979 Ford Fairmont Futura. Actually, I will show you a picture of what that looks like. Okay. So I found a picture of what my first car kind of looked like. It was, see if you can see, it'll focus. That's basically what it looked like. Mine was white and it was really dingy like that and everything. So yeah, it was only $300. It had a hole in the floorboard. It sounded like a jet engine taking, like a plane. My grandma always said, it sounds like we're about to take off. But it was my car and I used it until I moved up here. Who was the first person to text you today? My mother-in-law texted me this morning about Charlie's birthday party, actually. What was the first thing you thought of today? What did I think of? When I first woke up, oh, Charlie's awake. That's what it was. Who was your first grade teacher? I think her name was Mrs. Reed. That's all I remember. Where did you go on your first ride on an airplane? Florida. On my 25th birthday. Still the best birthday ever, because it was my first plane ride, first trip to Florida, and it's all because I saved up the money to do it. Who was your first best friend, and do you still talk? My first best friend would probably be this girl, Katie, who we started hanging out in like 4th or 5th grade. And yeah, we still talk thanks to Facebook. Who was your first sleepover? Again, it was probably her. Probably around 6th grade or something. We started having sleepovers. Who was the first person you talked to today? That would be Charlie, my son. Whose wedding were you in first? My oldest brother, Joe. He got married when he was like 22, and I was like, I don't know, 8 or 9, I think. I was a flower girl, so yeah. What was the first thing you did this morning? I guess I made Charlie some breakfast. Yeah, I made him some oatmeal. That's roughly, I mean, besides, you know, getting up, getting him out of the crib and everything, that's pretty much the first thing. What was the first concert you ever went to? My first concert was NKOTBSB, which is New Kids on the Block and Backstreet Boys. I went specifically for Backstreet Boys because I love them. I don't really care for New Kids on the Block, but Eddie got me tickets to it and we went, and that was a pretty awesome concert. What was the first tattoo you got? Haven't got one yet, but I have decided that my first tattoo is gonna have something to do with being Irish, since I found out that, yay, I'm Irish. So half Irish. first piercing, my ears, which I actually got them pierced a week before I got married. Technically I had them pierced once before, but it didn't work out. One of them got kind of infected, so I quit piercing them, and then right before I got married I got them pierced again. What's the first foreign country you've been to? Bahamas. I mean, it's out of the country, so yeah, for our honeymoon we went to the Bahamas. First movie you remember seeing in the movie theaters? I think it was Thumbelina, because I just remember a cartoon movie. I went with my aunt and my cousin when I was a kid, and I think it was Thumbelina because I just remember a little person, and it was a cartoon. And I had to look it up, and that came out in 1994, so that seems right because I would have been like 8 or 9. So, when was your first detention? My first detention, I think, was 8th grade for chewing gum. We had a strict no chewing gum policy at our school, and it was like the 3rd time I've been caught. So I got 3 days of after school detention. Can you believe that? Who was your first roommate? My friend Kelsey. We roomed together in an apartment right before I got married to Eddie. We were together for a year, and then she moved out, and then Eddie moved in. What is something you would learn first if you had the chance? I had to think about this one, but I came down to, because really I can learn anything, but I think dance would be any kind of dance, like to learn how to, I don't care what kind of dance, but just dance. Did you marry the first person to ask for your hand in marriage? I did not, no. I was engaged before, but no. What was the first sport you were involved in? That would be basketball. I started playing basketball in 3rd grade. That was my first sport. No, not 3rd grade, 4th grade. It was 4th grade, that's right. What were the first lessons you ever took? I never took lessons for anything. I wish I could have, but we lived in small town Oklahoma. There wasn't really anything, so I would have like taken some kind of musical instrument or something. That would have been cool. What was the first thing you do when you get home? That would be probably kick off my shoes because it feels so good. What was your first cell phone? I don't actually remember what my first cell phone was. I remember what it looked like. It was a red flip phone, and I got it when I was like 22, like 10 years ago. Who was your first crush? I remember when I was like 6, I had to ride on the bus, and there was this little boy that rode on the bus, and his name was James, and I had such a crush on him. How old were you when you had your first kiss? I was 11 at church, and I had a little boyfriend, and he was 12, and he kind of dared me, and I tried to get out of it. Well, not tried to get out of it, but I was so shy, I didn't know. And finally I was like, just go ahead and kiss me, and then he kissed me. And also his friend was spying on us and took off running when we kissed. How old were you when you had your first child? I was 30. So anyway, that's all of them, 30 questions. That was all of the first. I just thought that'd be just like a fun little, kind of like a get to know me tag. It's just firsts. As I did it on Facebook, and I was like, well, this would be fun to do for YouTube since I don't really have anything else today. I've been slacking. Honestly, it's just been getting really busy this month because it is Christmas month and it's Charlie's birthday, and so there's probably one of the videos been a little short and everything because we're just trying to, there's so much we gotta get done, so sorry for that. But hopefully once that's over, you know, things will pick up again, so stay tuned and don't leave me, don't leave me. Anyway, if you guys like this type of video, give it a thumbs up, and maybe I'll make more in the future. I mean, I do make them every once in a while anyway. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe, because I do other stuff. I vlog, I talk about my books that I write. I'll leave the link down for those below, and yeah, you can check those out. So I'll see you guys later. See you tomorrow with a vlog. All right, bye.